What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Arrival Entertainment, and today we are going to be talking about the next entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings stars Simu Liu. I really hope I pronounced that name correctly, but knowing me, I didn't, and I butchered it, and if I did, I am terribly sorry. And it tells the story of Shang-Chi, this man who was trained to be a killer when he was a kid, who now must confront his past that he thought he left behind when he's drawn into this tangled web of an organization known as the Ten Rings. I just summed up that description from the Letterboxd description of the plot. There's obviously more that goes on into the movie, but if I were to explain as much as I can spoiler free, I'd be here forever. So that's basically a Cliff Notes version. And really quickly before I get on with the review, I just want to say that I'm really sorry that I haven't been posting any videos lately. These past few weeks have just been one busy thing after another busy thing. I planned on seeing The Protege, The Night House, and Reminiscence, and out of those reviews, I only had a time to do The Protege. I saw The Night House, didn't get a chance to review it. I haven't seen Reminiscence, and then I was planning to do a review for Candyman, which I did see, but literally every time I tried to film it, I just couldn't get through it. I don't know what it was. Everything was pissing me off for no reason whatsoever. I couldn't get my sentences straight. I just ended up looking at that video and just said, yeah, I can't do this. And then when I was gonna do it again, I ended up being sick. And then by the time I was ready to do a video, everyone stopped talking about it. Everybody was talking about Shang-Chi, so I just thought, whatever. I'll talk about Candyman eventually because that movie was really good. It might be on my best of the year list, but I'll take it as a loss for a video, and I'll make it up with my review for Shang-Chi. So I didn't know what to expect going into Shang-Chi. The trailers looked pretty cool. I wasn't like incredibly impressed by it. I was hoping it would be good. I work at a retail store, so that trailer got shown a bunch of times on the TVs on display, and then every time I went to the theater I saw the trailer, so it got to the point where I got sick and tired of seeing the trailer, and I was just like, okay, let me just see the movie already so I can stop seeing this trailer everywhere. Another reason I didn't know what to expect going into this movie was because I know nothing about this character. This is honestly the first time I've ever heard of this character. I'm sure he's somebody's favorite superhero out there somewhere, but from my take on it, he seems like more of an obscure character, which if he isn't, I apologize. I've just never heard of this character, and from what I've heard, a lot of people haven't either. But that gives me some confidence because Marvel's done good with that before. I mean, look at Guardians of the Galaxy. No one knew who those characters were, and now they're some of the best Marvel movies out there. So I was holding on to that hope that Shang-Chi would be another Guardians of the Galaxy, in the respect that it was a character nobody knew, and now it's popular, yeah. And I can see this movie becoming a Marvel classic in the future because this movie I thought was excellent. I loved this movie. Yeah, I love this movie. It was a big surprise. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect going in. I was hoping it would just be good. I was hoping it would be better than Black Widow. And yeah, this movie is leaps and bounds, in my opinion, better than Black Widow. Now, if you saw my video for Black Widow, you know I really enjoyed the movie. I did recommend it, but looking back on it, now that the movie has fully settled with me, it is unfortunately one of the more forgettable entries in the MCU, despite the fact that I really liked it when I first saw it. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings has stuck with me ever since I saw it. I am constantly thinking of scenes that went on in this movie like I just saw it, and I saw it the other day, but yeah, this movie really stuck with me, and I was genuinely surprised that Marvel, for the first time in a long time, stepped out of their comfort zone a little bit with this movie. And what do I mean by that? I mean that every Marvel movie, and now their TV shows, they're following a basic formula. When you go into a Marvel movie, you know what to expect at this point. They're following a formula. They've had that formula since the very beginning, and they've been very successful at it. However, recently, it's starting to get a little tiresome. When you know what to expect going into the movie, there's no surprise, so you're just left entertained, but then you kind of forget about the movie when the movie's over. And looking back on Black Widow, that was unfortunately that movie's big fault. Shang-Chi strays away from the Marvel formula quite a bit, which was so refreshing to see. There is your typical Marvel stuff in the movie, of course. I knew Marvel wasn't going to fully stray away from that, but I was genuinely impressed that the main focus of this movie is on this culture where the Ten Rings legend was built from. There's no doomsday weapon that some asshole in a suit wants to get a hold of. There's no portal in the sky beaming up in New York City. This movie doesn't even take place in New York City. Sure, the beginning of the movie takes place in, I think, California, but we see a different culture in this movie. And again, I was really impressed with that. I thought for sure they were going to take this character and their culture and bring it to the US right in the middle of New York City. I was really afraid that we were going to do that, and that the trailers were only showing the different cultures, and that when we end up seeing the movie, that was just going to be flashback stuff. Thankfully, they did none of that. And I found myself more invested in the characters and the story because of that than I anticipated. The characters are really good in this movie. The guy who plays Shang-Chi, Simu Liu, again, I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, he's fantastic as his character. He's likable, he's relatable. I've been complaining a lot, well, not a lot, but I've mentioned before that when your main hero, especially for the first time when we see them, they're automatically good at what they do. It draws out the tension and the suspense and the mystery and the development of the character, and when they're just the perfect hero from the beginning. And while Shang-Chi is very good at his combat and fighting right away when we first see him, we start to understand as the movie goes along why he's good at this stuff. And in fact, there's even a part in the movie, towards the end where he has a heart-to-heart with this female character that he's best friends with that added more weight to his character. So the movie found a way to pull off the fact that this guy's really good at what he does from the beginning while still developing him. His female friend in the movie, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce, I had a hard time getting out the main character's name, she's really good in the movie. She's more the comic relief, and she could be a potential Jar Jar Binks for this movie, but thankfully she isn't. She's funny at just the right parts, she's relatable at just the right parts, and she's not overly annoying like, say, Jar Jar Binks or Kat Dennings in the first two Thor movies. And the villain in this movie, who is Shang-Chi's father, that's not a spoiler, that was in the trailer. In my opinion, he's one of the best Marvel villains in recent memory. For the main reason, he's relatable. You understand why he's doing the things he's doing. He thinks he's doing good, and he has good intentions, he's just doing it in the wrong way. And that can be some of the best villains you could put on screen. He's someone you do not want to mess with. He has those 10 rings, and he can use them at any time. He's basically unstoppable, which could be tiresome, but again, you understand his motive. You understand where he's coming from. He's meaning good, he's just doing it in the wrong way. And of course, there was going to be martial arts style fighting in this movie, and unlike Snake Eyes, it's very well handled in this movie. It's very nice to look at. A lot of long takes and wide shots with intense music going on. There is one moment in the movie where they found a way to give you that, not necessarily shaky cam, but that intense filming of action while still understanding what's going on, which made it exciting. Filmmakers need to watch that scene if they're going to use shaky cam and take inspiration from that scene. But for the most part, it was very well filmed and very intense, very engaging. Bravo on that part, because like I said, Snake Eyes earlier this year tried to do stuff like that, and it became a headache to watch. So thankfully, Shang-Chi didn't do any of that. However, my one complaint, and it literally is my one complaint with not just some of the action, but the movie as a whole, this film does rely on a lot of effects and green screens. I mean, we knew that. It's a Marvel movie. They put green screen and effects in all of their movies. Why is this one different? Why is this a negative in this movie and not a movie like, say, Spider-Man Far From Home? Well, unfortunately, some of the effects in green screen are very noticeable. Unlike Marvel movies like, say, Spider-Man Far From Home or Avengers Endgame or even the first Iron Man movie, all the effects were seamless. They blended together so well, and unfortunately with this film, even a simple scene where two characters are just talking to each other, giving expository dialogue, they're in a green screen background, and their outline of their body doesn't match the background on what's going on. It's hard to explain, you kind of need to see it to fully understand it. Nevertheless, the green screen is unfortunately kind of bad in this movie. During fight scenes, there'll be full body CGI characters or even full body CGI objects, like, say, that really awesome bus fight that we saw in the trailer. Great scene, by the way. That is some of the best action I've seen in a Marvel movie recently. Unfortunately, there are scenes where full cars, the bus itself, or even characters are just fully CGI, and again, it didn't blend all that well. So at times, even though it was a really great scene, it did take me out a couple times because I'm seeing something phony, unfortunately. But in all honesty, that's kind of a minor gripe when I look back on the whole movie, because everything else in this movie I thought was excellent. I loved it. It was very well done. Again, I'm so happy that Marvel stepped out of their comfort zone a little bit. They didn't take these characters again to New York City with a big portal in the sky and a big doomsday weapon or whatever. No, they focused more on this culture and this Ten Rings organization. And we developed the characters in that aspect a lot, and it was way more engaging than, unfortunately, Black Widow ended up being. I'm not trying to compare this movie to Black Widow, that's its own separate thing in the Marvel Universe. But looking back on it, that movie hasn't really held up at all in my mind. I look back on it and I'm like, yeah, that movie's pretty forgettable, but Shang-Chi, this is gonna stick with me for a while because, again, Marvel stepped out of their comfort zone. They did something different for a change, while still blending in some of the Marvel stuff. I mean, that's what I want to see more of in the Marvel Universe. More of a different setting, different characters, different culture, if you will, instead of your typical Marvels. I still want to see Spider-Man, and I still want to see more of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Wanda, obviously, and Doctor Strange. I want to see all that stuff, but throwing in something like this, like Shang-Chi, that's different than those characters, is working out pretty well. At least it worked out in my mind, so I wouldn't mind seeing more of this in the future from Marvel. And I'm not trying to compare it to this movie as well, but this movie, its setup and how it was done, was honestly what I was hoping Black Panther would have been like. Now, I enjoyed Black Panther. I thought it was a very fun movie, but I was way more interested in what was going on in Wakanda. When it went to your typical Marvel stuff, I just didn't really care all that much. So again, I'm glad that this movie took a chance and showed us a new side of Marvel. If you couldn't tell, I definitely recommend this movie. Unfortunately, I can't really give it my highest grade despite the fact that I really love this movie, due to the fact that some of the special effects are pretty bad, and we've obviously seen better from Marvel, so I know they could do better, but this is a definite Blu-ray purchase. I definitely recommend it. It's one of the better Marvel movies. In fact, it's definitely top 10 for me. Obviously, I recommend it. If you were unsure about it, it's worth it. Definitely give this movie a chance if you were unsure about it. So that's my review for Shang-Chi. Just like always, let me know down in the comment section your thoughts of the movie if you've seen it. And I did move some stuff around. That's why the background's a little different. Let me know what you think of it. Just kind of trying it out. So yeah, whatever your thoughts on everything is, just like always, let me know down in the comments section. And as always, guys, thank you again, as always, for watching. I'm going to try to see that new movie, The Card Counter, with Oscar Isaac and Martin Scorsese. I'm going to try to see that movie this weekend, so look forward to a review of that. And then my next anticipated movie is Cry Macho, Clint Eastwood's new movie. I'm really excited to see that. So look forward to videos of that coming very soon. Again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like and share it. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, take care.